So we will let him do that, and then we'll take questions. The first question is going to be from Christian, Lauren, Mike, and then we'll go from there. So, Coach, if you're ready, please go ahead.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. First thing, we just want to say how pleased we are with our team coming off our win against the University of Arizona. We really felt like we executed in all three phases, and was just proud of the way our guys came out with energy, with passion, and I thought we blocked really well. I thought we tackled very well, and made plays when we had to. We were extremely excited that we were able to get our backups in the game, second string, third string, late in that game. Those are valuable reps that we'll probably have to, use that, that history of those guys being in there here in the future, because you never know with injuries and COVID-19 when it's going to be those guys' turn to be starters for us, not just backups anymore. So it was awesome to get those guys out there, get their feet wet. And we ended up emptying the benches on offense, defense, and special teams, and got some guys some valuable reps. So there's not often you get to be able to do that in a Pac-12 game. So we were excited about the outcome against University of Arizona, and then share the disappointment with all of Husky Nation and our team with the Apple Cup, being postponed and possibly canceled. That's a huge game for this state, for this region, and especially for Husky Nation. We know that it's a tradition the day after Thanksgiving to have the family rivalries, the Cougs versus the Dogs, and for that not to happen on Friday, I know is very sad and very disappointing for a lot of people, and we share in that disappointment. But we had to flip the page very, very quick, and we know there was a lot of potential opponents that we could have played this Saturday. First, Jen Cohen and our administration did an unbelievable job of getting potential games lined up, and we definitely had a number of different depth charts circulating in our building, wondering who we're going to play, and our video crew did a nice job of collecting film with those potential opponents, and I won't discuss those potential opponents, but there was definitely some discussions for multiple teams, and it definitely a new thing in 2020 that usually we know who we're playing week in and week out, and this year we do not. But our team didn't flinch, and they were ready to play whoever we were going to play. And I got to give a lot of credit to the Pac-12, Larry Scott, Merton Hanks, for really being on top of this and staying ahead of the curve with the potential loss of the Arizona State-Utah game, and knowing now that we have University of Utah and Kyle Whittingham and his really good, well-coached team for years now, and one of the dominant teams in the South Division is coming up here to play us this Saturday, which our team's excited about. I'm sure their team's excited, and I know Husky Nation is excited to watch two really good teams face each other. And so with that, I'll open up to questions. All
right, we go Christian, Lauren, Mike. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm wondering at what point you guys started looking at Utah and started game planning for Utah. And I know you don't want to say who the other possibilities were, but are you able to say the number of different teams you were kind of mulling over this week and starting to take an initial look at?
Yeah, there was one point I had 4 depth charts across my desk, and so it was that's never happened before. So yeah, at one point there was 4 sitting there, and we played the odds a little bit. We did a little, we tried to get some intel, where we could, and thankfully we did practice against Utah yesterday. Tuesday's practice, and then of course we practiced today against Utah, and so our guess was right. Had it not been, then we would have just had to move on and tear up the game plan and get ready for that next opponent. But I got to thank our staff, especially our quality control coaches and our graduate assistants. They did a lot of grunt work on all the other teams, and we would have had some game plans ready to go for those teams as well, if that was going to take place. But we went with the odds, and thankfully we got 2 really good practices in on the University of Utah.
All right, Lauren, go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy. I'm just curious. I mean, not just this week, but just in general with this season and kind of the unknowns on a weekly basis, do you have to spend more time maybe preparing for teams that aren't on your schedule, teams that you might see, or do you kind of wait until something happens?
Yeah, this was an interesting one for sure. So I would say that the weeks prior, we did not try to prepare for anybody. You know, we would get information, and we knew those first two games were probably, 90% going to go. So we weren't preparing for anybody else. But this one, leading up for the Apple Cup, we definitely had heard whispers that that game was probably going to be canceled. And there was definitely some potential games that we were trying to get ahead of that we felt that would replace the Apple Cup this weekend. And so I guess from here moving forward, if we do get some forward advance that the next game is a potential postponement or cancel, we will definitely have to make this a weekly routine.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel, then Dan Raley. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jimmy, unrelated question, but Husky Stadium, is celebrating its 100th birthday on Friday. And I'm just wondering, for you to coach in there for 7 years and to start your head coaching career in that stadium, what has that meant to you to work in a place like that?
Well, completely humbling. And to be honest, I don't really like to think about it because of all the great coaches and the great teams that were here, before us. All I like to do is just keep my head down, and our staff keeps their head down, and we just want to work hard, continue to be bricklayers around here. And then at the end of this year, we're hoping we look up and we've made Husky Nation proud, and we've made the great coaches and the great players that were before us proud.
All right, we'll go to Dan Raley and then Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Dan.
Jimmy, I've got two for you. Do you still hold your breath on this game on Saturday, knowing that Utah played USC, which has a positive test and shut down their facilities yesterday? And number two, do you gather your guys for Thanksgiving and keep them away from their families just to be safe tomorrow?
Yeah, so with Thanksgiving, again, shared a lot of horror stories from stories that we've heard around the country, with teams finally saying, hey, you know what, let's just go back to normal and do what we've always done. And then all of a sudden they have an outbreak on their team. And so, yes, Dan, you're correct. I've hammered these guys over the head every single day about we have to continue to do what we've been doing for the last 3 to 4 months now, which is not, get outside of our bubble and be around people that we haven't been around, even if it's somebody that's close to us, friends, family, people that we love. We just have to stay the course here for the next month and a half. And I told the team that yesterday. We got to stay the course. Stay the course, do exactly what we've been doing, and we'll make sure this virus doesn't enter this building and disrupts our operation around here. And it's sad. We've all, have our Thanksgiving traditions and spend time with our friends and family. And this year, we can't do that. It's an event that has happened once every 100 years. This pandemic that's sweeping planet Earth, and we have to make sure we take the necessary steps. With your question to Utah, I feel very, very confident in the Pac-12 testing protocols that we have put in place. Everyone's getting tested exactly the same way we are getting tested, and so I feel very, very confident that on game day we will not have anybody that has the virus, and neither will our opponent.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters and then Josh Kirshenbaum. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Jimmy, knowing the way you love football, I wouldn't be surprised if you probably did see at least some cut-ups of the USC-Utah game anyway, just out of curiosity. And was curious just to see what you thought of their offense and defense, especially with all the losses they had due to graduation, guys going pro and everything else. How much do they look different, and especially at quarterback, knowing that their starting quarterback went down?
Yeah, they have always been, Coach Whittingham, I have so much respect for him and his staff. They have always been one of the toughest teams to go against year in and year out. This is why this has been such a spectacular game for years now. We know that they will be coached up on offense, defense, and special teams. They will be tough to defend. They're going to be really tough on defense. Historically, every single year, it's either us or them as the best defense in the Pac-12. And the film that we watched, they've replaced all that talent that they've sent to the NFL with players that are just as good, if not better. Definitely a huge blow, for their offense to lose, their starting quarterback right there in their first game. Nobody wants that to happen to anybody. But they do have a guy that's played a lot of football, that stepped in and made some plays there down the stretch against obviously a really good USC team. And I know Coach Whittingham, he's going to have whoever's available coached up, prepared, and dialed in to try to come in here and get a victory. And so we're excited about this matchup. It's an extremely well-coached team, a team that we have a lot of respect for, and we can't wait to have some fun Saturday night.
All right, we'll go to Josh Kirshenbaum and then Anthony Edwards. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Jimmy, you've talked about how multiple you want your offense to be, and obviously the difference between game 1 and game 2. Just how much does that get harder, or maybe how much does that change when you're not finding out who you're having the game plan against until Tuesday night, Wednesday?
Yeah, I think we're not going to use that as an excuse at all. Right now, we're really in great shape. We haven't lost a day of preparation. Like I said, we gambled correctly this week, and we put all of our attention and our game plan and our prep work at practice on the University of Utah. And so this week is like no other week. We feel, of course, the uncertainty in the beginning, Sunday, Monday, but other than that, once we got the team together and once we started practicing, we're in the same routine that we've been in. And so we have to go out there and execute. And yes, for sure, we want to be balanced, multifaceted on offense, and again, try to do whatever we feel is going to give us the best, situation to win the football game on Saturday night.
All right, Anthony, then Tim Booth. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, you've mentioned that with Dylan Morris, he kind of was mistake-free in camp and stuff, and he made good decisions. But what's kind of been the message for him so far this year, like getting the ball in the playmaker's hands, or what are you kind of telling him?
We're just saying, hey, do what you've been doing in practice. We don't force the ball at anybody. We don't operate that way. Our quarterbacks go through a progression, and if it's there, they're going to throw it, and if it's not, then they're going to throw it to somebody else. And if everyone's covered, they're going to run it. So, or throw the ball away. That's the beautiful thing about a pro style offense and our style of offense is we will rep situation after situation and let them go through their checks and balances. And if they're reading it the correct way, then the end result should be a positive play for our offense.
All right, we'll go to Tim Booth and then Christian. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Jimmy, a couple questions related to Washington State. On Sunday morning when you guys came in, did you guys even start any prep for Wazoo, or was it pretty clear by that point that the game was going to be postponed? And then second to that, it's December 19th is supposed to be the day of the crossover games. Short of you guys playing in the Pac-12 championship game, do you expect or would you like to see arrangements made for the Apple Cup to be played on that weekend?
Yes. The answer to your second question is yes, of course. We would love, everyone wants the Apple Cup to happen. And so, yes, if we were not in the Pac-12 championship game, definitely, I think that last game there should be the Apple Cup. I know our fans and their fans and this whole state and this whole region would want that game to happen. And then to your first question, we actually did a whole bunch of work the week prior. So it was a short week. We played Arizona on Saturday, and it was a Friday game. And so we'll always do prep work before that. So we had a bunch of stuff already ready to go even before the news that hit Sunday.
All right, we'll go with the hands that we have up now to finish things out. We'll go with Christian and then Mazvita. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, Jimmy, kind of random, but about how many student interns or student assistants do you have working on your recruiting staff right now? And just how important are those sort of behind the scenes roles to your guys' recruiting operation? Yeah,
so sadly, Christian, right now we have zero. And the reason is because of the coronavirus. We don't have anybody extra in the building right now. We just have the people that need to be here in order for us to get practice going and prepare for games. And so a very sad situation. The number right now, but in a normal time, I mean, that number is upwards to a dozen in a normal year. definitely miss having all that help around here. But yeah, sad situation with the coronavirus, not be able to have those guys in the building.
All right, we'll go Mazvita, then Kim. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, who you play obviously is a huge part of the equation, but how important is it in the messaging for the team to improve and stay consistently improving on your game plan, who you are?
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's the anchor for one of our anchors of our program is a constant state of growth and improvement. And yeah, no matter who we're playing, we're always trying to make ourselves better, coaches, players included. And, you know, if we didn't have a game this weekend, we would definitely be still practicing in order to improve individually and also collectively.
All right, we'll go Kim and then Art, then Mike Vorel. Go ahead, Kim.
Hey, Coach, lots of people talk about the biggest improvement on a team coming from game 1 to game 2. After film review, where did you see the big jumps, and what happened to the run the damn ball hat? Did Coach Bonifa take that back? Is it in retirement? We going to see it again?
Oh no, it's sitting right at my desk. That thing's not moving anywhere. It's sitting right there. Yeah, I think we definitely improved. Again, that's you know, to Mazvita's question there, that's what we're trying to do each and every day. And obviously from game to game, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're getting better. We're improving each position group and each side of the ball and in special teams. We're going to learn from our mistakes and grow. We're going to make new mistakes. We'll make some new mistakes on Saturday, and then we got to clean those up and then make sure we don't make those again. But we were definitely pleased with, you know, our first performance against Oregon State. We knew there was a lot of things to clean up, which we did. And then we made some mistakes against Arizona, but we also grew in a lot of areas. So that is always going to be the case from week to week.
All right, last three from Art, then Mike, and then Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Art.
Jimmy, getting back to the decision to plan, the gamble to plan for Utah, what was decisive there? What bit of information or conversation did you have with Jen Cohen or anybody else in the Pac-12 to make you go ahead?
Yeah, I think we knew, which you guys asked me this last week, you know, about the non-conference opponents and those type of questions. Our first preference is to always play a conference game. That's what's going to help us the most, trying to reach our goal of winning the Pac-12. So we definitely wanted to lean more towards a Pac-12 opponent. And so that was merely the gamble right there. Was we need to prepare for these guys. We need to prepare for a Pac-12 opponent because we know per our rules from the Pac-12, our first opponent will always be a Pac-12 opponent first. And so it wasn't like I had some, you know, underlying, you know, some things that no one else knew about. It was just more playing the odds that if that game was not going to go off down in Tempe, that Utah was probably going to be our most probable opponent.
All right, last two, Mike, and then Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jamie, I'm wondering, what does Puka give you in terms of his skill set that's maybe a little bit different from the other receivers, and what is the next step for him in his progression?
Yeah. What I love about Puka, which he gives to the whole team and definitely that side of the ball and the wide receiver room, is just a bunch of energy. He has this positive energy that's contagious. And we really missed that last year when he was injured last year and was no longer, you know, wasn't able to finish the season. So he brings that. And then, you know, he's a big body. He's hard to tackle. He's hard to tackle for some defensive backs. He's bigger than most defensive backs, definitely bigger than most corners. And I think that's a big part of his game. And, you know, obviously had the huge play last week, but now I just want him to be even more consistent. And really that whole room, make sure we're catching the ball when we should catch it. You know, if a defensive back makes a really good play on the ball, we'd all understand that, but we need to catch those layups. And so I want to make sure we definitely see some improvement in that area.
All right, last question from Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Jimmy, more of a larger kind of Pac-12 question. With the CFP coming out yesterday, you know, Gary Barta made it seem like there just aren't enough data points for the Pac-12 teams right now, only playing 2 and 3 games. So do you still feel like if Washington went undefeated, they go 6-0, win the Pac-12 title, do you still feel confident that you would get serious playoff consideration?
Yeah. So first, to your first question is, I think the Big Ten's only played 2 to 3 games as well. And so, it just goes to show you that it's a beauty contest. And, you go to a beauty contest, there's a lot of beautiful people there, and it's probably hard to decide which one is the most beautiful. So we don't worry about this. This is things that are out of our control. And what we can control is trying to win the Pac-12 championship. That's what we can control. And right now, the next step towards that is playing our opponent on Saturday. And that's all our team can worry about, all our staff can worry about. I get it. It's college football. The fans love to look at rankings and who's ranked this and who's ranked that. And I get the drama of it all. But I will dive into the drama at the end of your scenario, which you just said, Chris. I promise to answer that. If at the end of the year we are holding up that trophy with a immaculate record there, then I'll definitely answer that question. But at this point, all we can worry about is the University of Utah.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you again on Saturday. Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.